a little colder, but it's not that bad at Camp Pashayan.
Here we are on the San Joaquin River, just around the Madeira Bridge up at the Friant Dam. Millerton Lake's feeding the San Joaquin River here. And the water is so high and moving so fast that we thought we'd take the advantage of traversing the river. Normally it takes all day and into the evening to get from Friant Dam down to the 99 bridge. We're putting in. The kayaks were unloaded and the trailer driven back to Camp Pashayan down at the 99 bridge. And we all met there and got in the cars and came back up here, which means somebody has to drive the driver back up to get their car. The water's pretty cold, but it's tolerable. You can swim in it. I tried to paddle up as close to the dam as I could, but only got so far, not really able to get separated from the group. And thanks goodness I wore my leggings today, on that day, and I did get my ankles sunburned. But, and I had slathered 50 plus all over my ankles, arms, face, everywhere, exposed to the sun, thank goodness. But for some reason, my left ankle still got burned. These are other tour guides that are volunteering. Most of us have been on the river several times, have had some instructions, a little bit of training, and of course some experience, which all came in handy for this trip. Several of us got dumped, and you'll see my episode.
Are any of the berries ripe?
That's the Madeira Bridge, just below the dam.
They look all dried up.
I'm wearing a GoPro camera on a headband. So when I turn my head, it's kind of jerky. But I keep that in mind. I try not to make it too fast. I went ahead and I did edit out a lot of repetition, a lot of the quiet times. We left in the morning, got there about just before 9 o'clock. Started out paddling about 9:30, and we got down there at the bridge at somewhere around 5:30, 5:45. So the river moving so fast got us down there a lot in record time. Can't really see it, but the river is moving very, very fast. That's a lot of water, and it weighs a lot of tonnage. When it comes flowing down on top of you in a waterfall, it can mess you up. Sharon is the director of the tours, and is in charge of the tour guide volunteers. She gave us a little pep talk and description of what to expect She made a trip recently with a reporter from CNN that tweeted his story about the San Joaquin River being one of the last, or one of the endangered species of rivers in the United States. Sharon's the one in the red. We arrived on that day, on Saturday. There was bicycle rally going on, and someone mentioned that they found out that there were over 360 entries in that bicycling event. You can see the remnants of the old original bridge to Madera here, and that caused some riffles. They call them riffles. If you've ever been on the Kings River, you know what a rapid is. That demonstrates to you the power of that water, the amount of weight and velocity. It does what it wants, regardless of what you want. I was okay, no damage. Had to retrieve my GoPro. Thank goodness it was on a lanyard attached to my wrist. And of course, when you're in this situation, you try and get yourself oriented so you can get on your back and float downstream with you looking upstream.
I'm alive.
So you'll be chasing your oars and your kayak, canoe to a better place.
I'm doing pretty good. So I'll grab
I
on.
lost the GoPro headband, and so I had to pull it back with my lanyard and reseat it on my head. One of the volunteers was gracious enough to allow me a hitch a ride with his canoe, with his kayak. I grabbed the gunwale, that's the side of the kayak, and made my way up to the front where there's a handle, and I just held on.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hope Sharon. I forgot my whistle.
Happened to hit the tree?
It was kind of chilly, but I didn't notice.
How
I was not prepared to go in, so it was a surprise. Although I should have expected I may have, which I did. Whenever you go on the river and get in a canoe or a kayak or a raft, anytime you go anywhere near water, you must expect that you'll very likely go in. And I was very comfortable. I was able to swim. I was not feeling chilled or worrying about hypothermia. You do have to be very careful. You could succumb to hypothermia very easily. I kept myself moving,
We didn't think it would be this exciting.
swimming along with the kayak, not relying on it to float me.
Well, the first
And I
two,
just made my way down
we
and
jumped in.
followed the river,
First we were standing up.
allowing the river to do what it wanted, so I could pick and choose where I can retrieve my kayak.
No. The one I had
One of the
was red.
rules of touring on the river is you go in groups,
Thank
so
you.
that you have a lead person and you have a follow
I'm getting
person
used to it.
and you have a whistle. Usually
keep
the
moving.
tour guide head has the whistle. Once
Good thing I
for
had the tether.
pay attention, twice for gather to where I am, and 3, there's a problem. Keep a watch out and find the leader. See what's going on. My kayak and paddle, of course, were retrieved by the leader and the forward kayakers, and even some of the kayakers that did not get dumped.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Everyone was stationed along the way to assist or help where they could.
Do you guys have your paddle?
No. Pretty steep bank.
Here we are trying to find bottom,
No. it's
which there
pretty
wasn't. It's pretty much straight down on the banks at this point.
Still no ground?
No.
So what we had to do is attempt a crossover
No, right here.
to get back into the kayak.
Right here. Can you get right here?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Fish pen right there?
No.
Back there a little more. I can see it.
We spotted some clumps and foliage on the side, hoping that that would
Up
indicate
here where the tuft is.
Right there you can.
some solid
No, up
ground
here where the
underneath,
tuft is in front.
but that was not the case.
This is just straight down.
Go deep right there.
Yeah. I crawled underneath.
There you go. Good job. You did it. Woohoo!
Oh, man, we least my lunch is still
Good
here.
job.
You did it very elegantly.
Thanks. Got it.
You got your paddle?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you a...
Thanks. I will try this again.
Okay, I should have said at the beginning, the goal is to stay in your boat. Alright, so we have a couple, I know a lot of people have water in their boat. My boat is pretty much full of water, but I'm not going to drain it yet because there's two places at Lost Lake where it's going to fill up with water again. So let's just keep going and then we'll drain it after that.
The object here was to grab hold of the
That's what I
side of the
did for
boat,
trying to
hopefully
follow
the opposite side,
I should have gone the other way.
and kick real hard and launch yourself up over the edge of the boat so you're across it, and then swivel around and turn so that you're seated back in the boat. It seems that worked pretty good for me there. Somewhere along the bank in
I'm
this
already
location
starting to dry off.
is a deer, a fully grown female.
It wasn't
Doe,
quite that
deer.
bad.
They frequent the area, so do coyotes, raccoons, other small animals. There's supposedly a beaver and badgers, an armadillo or two, and of course there are lots of hawks, and there's some eagles, none of them like humans, so they stay away. It's hard to spot them. Once in a while you do. No rattlesnakes this low. They're above front. It was interesting to note. There, I did not see any wildlife in the water, although I know they're there. The water's moving so fast and so quickly, and they just have been letting the water out recently. It's been washing all the live critters downstream pretty fast. They scramble to get up out of the water as it rises, and they scurry away in their hiding spots. So it's hard to find anything that's a live animal. Some of us had to bail. Sometimes it's quick just to use your paddle and slosh the water out. And some of us go over to the side where we can and tip the boat over. A lot of the channel the San Joaquin River flows down is very similar to this landscape, where there are lightly rolling hills, a lot of greenery, it doesn't extend back very far. caution about riding in a canoe or a raft or a kayak. You're above the water. The water is reflecting the sun onto you directly. The sun is shining on you directly from overhead, sometimes straight on from right overhead. So you're very susceptible to sunburn. There is a chance of windburn, and even in rare cases, water burn. You'll get yourself very dried out,
Ooh, this looks like a nice
dehydrated.
area.
So you need to make sure you drink lots of fresh water. I would not recommend the river water, although it is drinkable. If you're not
Yeah,
susceptible
down,
to
this is
diarrhea or other
No, we've never been here.
items that will make you sick.
Usually it's the rocks. We don't go up above the rocks.
We're now approaching
Usually don't go
the
up above the
edge
rocks
of what's
down.
called Lost Lake. They have camping on the dam end of the park.
Oh, really?
It's very large and runs along the bank. We do have a day use area on the opposite end. Of course, the water being so high, it takes up a lot of the room and grassy area that's available for day picnics. I took my GoPro off my head and I stuck it down in the water. I'll give you an example of what the water looks like. It's pretty murky, churning up a lot of dirt, dust, debris, branches, dead materials. This is water that's been sitting in the bottom of Millerton Lake from snow melt off and insulated by several feet, tens of feet of water on top. If you go swimming up at Millerton, which is this water, the first 4 feet can be anywhere from 70 to 72 degrees. Almost like swimming in your bathtub. But down deep, 40, 50 feet, 60, 70 feet, it's still very, very cold. And it heats up very quickly here at Lost Lake, which is a few miles from the dam. It can warm up to about 54 degrees. We're coming up on some more riffles. Now that's the blue bag.
Yeah.
You can just keep going downstream with it. You don't have to stop right here.
Okay.
You can just like get to a place where you can kind of hang out.
That was my lunch, as you heard. I had it tucked underneath the bungee cords in the back of me, beyond my seat, but I forgot and neglected to readjust it from the when I got dumped. So it come unloosed, and of course the boat filled with water. You'll see later that I stop, pull over, and empty myself out. That's a lot of weight, extra weight that I didn't want to be paddling with. You'll notice up here on the left, it's another place to put in, and some other kayakers and another group are all gathered together to go on a trip of their own. There are several groups that use the river. This is the whole reason for the San Joaquin River Parkway and Trust. It's to provide the public with access to valuable resource we have here in the valley, and to take care of it and be good stewards for its care and protection. The kayak's not too heavy, but it's pretty bulky, and it takes a little effort to tip it over and empty it out. And of course, you're not going to get every drop out. It's not going to be totally dry, but it saves a lot of weight. And my arms get real tired real fast.
Yeah, I got everything. I thought I was missing my fanny pack. It crawled underneath. That's a nice place to dump your water.
If you go kayaking or canoeing or rafting on the river, the Parkway and Trust will offer you some tips on proper paddling techniques to keep you from getting overly tired or strained. Use your waist, your shoulders,
Oh, I
your
lost my water
arms,
bottle. Yeah, it's a
and your
big red
legs.
one. Oh, rats. I just emptied my boat, too.
Most of the trip was pretty exciting. Everyone seemed to have a lot of fun. I would encourage everyone to at least go part of it. There are several trips. There are half-day trips. There are quiet water trips. There's day trips. There's evening trips. It's not a good idea to be on the water after nighttime. Here I go again, bunking the GoPro in the water. Here you can see the pretty murky. That hat has not been adjusted since I got dunked. I finally did get it put back on to protect my face, and I found a way to put it on over in the headband the GoPro was using.
only thing I lost was my red water bottle. I had a clip on it too, but I didn't have it clipped. It's probably at the bottom of the river back there. I hope somebody picks it up and turns it in.
Well, we're through Lost Lake area. When you're going around a curve, the river water has a tendency to push you over to the side. So you really have to paddle hard, keep it straight, keep from slamming into the side, like I slammed into that island. Most of the trip is very quiet, very easy, very comfortable. You can do a lot of meditation. There's several routes to take around the shrubbery and the islands, little sandbars. There's a route that takes you through a culvert. It's huge, gigantic. You drive a car through it. And some say it's haunted by bats. But I think they're just starlings. They lodge in the ceiling. Tell the stories to scare the kids. This really reflects the speed that the water is flowing at. So I'm just paddling to maintain my kayak going straight and in the middle. I thought there would be more of these sandbars. Be able to offer a real nice place to paddle around, to walk around in the water, sandbars. But that was the only one that I found on the whole trip. There is a lot of foliage here that's not native. It's dropped off blown, birds dropping, all kinds of reasons that non-native plants are growing along the banks. Some of them are parasites. There is mistletoe and parrot fern. This is Highway 41 overpass. A lot of mud daubers are up in there. $3 million home for them. That's how much it cost to put that overpass in. And yes, those power lines look like they're a little on the low side, but that's a very long stretch. And when a lot of current's flowing, they heat up and sag. Here we are at Sycamore Lake, or excuse me, Sycamore Island. Chance to examine the plants that grow underwater. Some reeds. We had lunch break here. It was about 12 or 1 o'clock.
Wow, it's amazing how much warmer there's this real layer of warm water.
Here we are going again. And here we are at a railroad trestle. This is the Burlington Northern Rail, the one that Amtrak runs on. Earlier in the summer, we paddled up toward it, the opposite direction we're going now, and I just could not make it past the pilings. The river water was so low that you could stand up in the middle of it. Here the water is just flowing right over the top of it, and it's about 10 feet underwater. Can't see any of the pilings.
Looks a lot different than the last time I was here.
And here we are at 99 bridge. That red sign in the center says that you are not permitted to go beyond, and they have fenced it off so you can't continue on down the river. This is our portage. The trailer was parked here up on near the road. This is Camp Pashayan. There were some visitors. This trip took us over 5 hours to make. That's a lot of time in a kayak. It shows you what all goes into taking the boats out, loading them on the trailer. Everybody pitches in, especially if you're a volunteer tour guide.
Let's dump it. Thanks.
And that's the day. Everybody's tired and needs to go home. Had to go up on the road, close to the road, to get my ride back home. So think about coming on out, enjoying your water trip. Enjoy the San Joaquin River.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And we're all tired. I sympathize with her.
Feeling the humidity, I think just off our clothes, but yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. Especially in the shade here.
You really can't see the rocks. I mean, like, once you're coming down the hill, you can't see anything.
What, depth?
Yeah, so they drain. That's it.
else going in here? Did we get all the
Yeah, I think we got everything.